Hello, and welcome to Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in their communities doing beautiful things. I'm Jay. This is Rosmondo. How's things going in your neck of the woods? Everyone getting ready for the spring season, Roz. I know you got a lot of things coming up with the summer season for the OVPL team.
Yeah, just working on schedule for OVPL. That's one thing we're trying to nail down. That's going to be an ongoing thing. Once we get that sorted out, we've also got some sponsorship, or I guess we call them partnerships, that we're trying to iron out with local organizations. End of the day, we're grassroots. We're a community club, so we're going to need to make relationships and friends around the community to help us get through the season. And it's a big piece of what we do, and then so that's something that's a bit of a focus right now.
And just for the people out there that don't know, there's a lot of things that you're alluding to that I know just that we've talked about in the last year or two off camera about that goes into the season at that level, things like lodging for the players, sponsorships, transportation, right?
Yeah, and everything as well. Uniforms, you
Yeah,
got to get them
kits,
ordered. Training kit, like you said,
facilities.
facilities as well. Yeah, facilities is one, and you got to nail all those things down. And it's a lot of times it's a moving target too, So it's or you've got to do two or three different things at once in terms of priorities. So it's tricky. It really is. I mean, we don't have the luxury of having a full paid staff to work on those things. So a lot of time is you doing it yourself, or you've got helpers and volunteers. But it's what you need to do to make things work. And so you come to the season and things are as proficient or as streamlined as they can be, because the last thing you want is a big problem during the season. So you do a lot of that up front, and that's what I guess a lot of people don't realize. So yeah.
And then at some point, you have to actually try to coach and put your team together on the field.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, you've got to recruit the team, coach the team, run games. Yeah, so there's quite a bit that goes into it.
Yeah, and also just a little foreshadowing. Hopefully, we have some exciting news to announce here in the next few weeks regarding the OVPL. So stay tuned for that. But today's episode, we're glad to have everybody with us. We're excited to have a professional goalkeeper, Adelaide Gay, and co-founder of Duktig Brand FC. If you are not familiar with what that is, Duktig is a fairly new to the soccer scene coaches company, makes notebooks and things of that nature to help coaches. They make a lot of other products now as well. And we're just glad to have an interview with her. And Ryan, I think what's interesting about their company is they're not just a normal, I guess, business model where they just sell something to the consumer. They kind of have an inclusive idea that they try to establish with coaches. They use a lot of communication, and they really try to have the consumer, which in this case happens to be coaches a lot of times, also have a say in a lot of their products and a lot of their new upcoming products.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting stuff. I mean, it really is. It's building a community, right? They're building a community of users that have input, that have a say in what they're doing as well. I mean, it gives people a stake. And if you've got a stake in it, that's a really positive business model. It's usually something that's got a lot of gas, it'll take you there. But it's really interesting to see somebody who's a professional player and making that move from player to somebody in their own different career, moving beyond soccer career, and moving into like a professional career in other regards. And this is she's becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, it's really exciting to see that. And it's a difficult challenge for a lot of players. How do you make that jump? I mean, how do you get past the fact that you're no longer going to be providing or contributing on the field, but you've got to do something else? And so it's excellent to see this success story.
And to get a business up and running, not to just mention a career, but to get your own business up and running. So hopefully everybody likes that. We're very appreciative for her spending time with us. A lot of people out there in the Duktig community, I know it continues to grow every year, not only at the National Coaching Convention, but just everywhere online. So please follow them on social media, check them out, check out their website. And so now our interview with Adelaide Gay from Duktig Brand FC. We are very excited to have our special guest with us for this week, Adelaide Gay. Addie, you are originally from New Jersey. She won a national championship at the college level with the University of North Carolina. She has won 2 NWSL Cups at the professional level. She also has her C license as a coach. And she's still currently playing in Denmark for Fortuna Hjorring. Did I say it right?
Hjorring, yeah.
Hjorring. I'm sorry, Fortuna Hjorring. But she's coming to us from Denmark right now. So, Addie, thank you very much for taking the time to hang out with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
As a high school coach myself, I've coached girls since 2002, and I coach club as well. And I have two daughters that play. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get from New Jersey, growing up here playing soccer, to playing professionally in Denmark?
Yeah, I grew up playing in New Jersey. I played for PDA. It's a pretty well-known club now. Back then, there was only one team at each age group, but I played for PDA growing up. Played ODP. I played pretty much anywhere I could play. I played high school, and I actually, when I was getting recruited to go to college, I was recruited by Yale, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. So that's actually where I went first. And then after one season, a year and a half really, but one season, I decided to transferred to University of North Carolina. I played there for 3 seasons, won the national championship my senior year, which was awesome. And then my first professional season, or when I graduated from college, was the first year of the NWSL. So it wasn't even really, I don't want to say that it wasn't an option to play professionally, but it wasn't as established as it is now, where kids growing up in high school, I think is so cool. They can see professional women's soccer players and think, oh, I could be that someday. And obviously when I was younger, there was the 99ers, and there was WPS when I was a little bit older, but there wasn't really a clear path. So I tried out for a couple of NWSL teams. I played my first year in Portland with the Thorns, and then my second year I trained with the Washington Spirit, but I played with their reserve team. And that was good because I actually got to play games. I'm a goalkeeper, so if you're a goalkeeper and you're not the first goalkeeper, you don't usually play that many games. So I got to play games, which was great. And after that, that gave me the opportunity to go play professionally in Sweden. So I went over to Sweden first, and I played there for a couple of years. And yeah, I've played in Sweden. I've played in Norway. I've played in Iceland. I've now been in Denmark for 2 years, a little over 2 years. So I've been all over the place, but I kind of just stumbled into it, I guess you could say.
Well, that's pretty awesome, though. For any, like you just said, any high school girls or younger girls right now that play and aspire, have that dream to make it to where you are now, what advice do you have for them?
Oh man, I would just say play as much as possible, and enjoy it. I think obviously, I think the two reasons why I've continued to play is, number one, I'm competitive, but I think more than anything is just because I really like soccer. I really like to play soccer. And I think if you play for any other reason than because you love it, when things get difficult, it's hard to get through them. So I would just say play and enjoy it, and play because you love the game itself.
And I think it is great as a coach that there are more opportunities out there now for girls to see, not just men playing on TV at a higher level, but there's women's games now. A lot more clubs in Europe are adding women's teams, and with the growth of the game here in our country is awesome as well. And then, so as a player, within last couple of years here, you have also become the co-founder of something called Duktig Brand. I have my notebook right here. There you go. So tell everybody a little bit about where did that idea come from originally?
So I mean, I guess a little background. I've always kept a journal. I've always kept a notebook. Just a big planner, a big writer. And I had a lot of coaches growing up that encouraged me to keep a notebook for different things within the game. And it kind of stuck with me throughout the years. So sort of fast forward to when I was playing in Sweden. I think it was my second year playing in Sweden. I was playing with the other co-founder of Duktig Brand, Tiffany Weimer. We were playing together in Sweden, and I was taking my usual notes. I would take notes on teams before we played them, after we played them. I'd write down sessions in my notebook, and I had a regular moleskin that didn't have the field drawn in or anything. And I think we just got to talking a few times about how frustrating it was that we didn't have a notebook that had the field in it, because you're always drawing it in by hand, and And there are some that, you can buy, but they're not very nice. I wanted that nice notebook feel, that also had the field in it. So I think I actually started emailing companies. I emailed Moleskin. I emailed pretty much any notebook company I could find and was like, hey, would you make this? Just because, we wanted it ourselves.
Yeah.
And eventually one notebook company emailed back and was like, no, but we'll sell you 500 of them if you want. And and so then Tiff and I started talking about it. And obviously at the time, when you're a women's professional soccer player, you're not making a lot of money. So we kind of just sort of decided, why not? We'll buy 500. We'll max out our credit cards, and hopefully other people will want them as well. And they did. So it worked out.
Obviously, getting it started, I'm sure like any other business or any other ideas can be difficult. What were, other than trying to find a company, what were any other major challenges early on that you had? As you said, trying to balance still training and being a player every day and kind of trying to get this off the ground as well.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one, which I just mentioned, was money. We didn't have a lot of money, and people don't want to lend money to people who don't make money. So that was obviously an obstacle. But honestly, I would say that the biggest thing is that there are so many like little hurdles, and if you wait until you have all your ducks in a row, you'll never do it. So I think luckily Tiff had done some startups and those kinds of things beforehand, and she really pushed for us to just do it. I think we launched without even having the product in hand. And I really think the biggest obstacle still to this day when we're have ideas or we're working through things is just the hesitancy to do things before you're ready to do them. And I know for me that was a big thing because I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to make mistakes, but I think
Sure.
as you go on in a small business, you realize it's inevitable and you're going to make mistakes, and you just have to sort of do it anyway.
That's much like this podcast. We make mistakes and we just keep on going.
Exactly.
So that's great. I mean, that's a great lesson, I think, for younger people out there. So kids, perseverance.
It was a project that if I had really known everything that was going to be entailed in it, I think I would have been more hesitant to start because it would have made me more nervous. But I think not really knowing what I was getting myself into helped a little bit in that case.
Yeah. So now at this point, what are you most proud of?
Staying in business that long. No.
That's an accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And just getting through COVID and everything that came after that was a challenge. But I would honestly have to say our Duktig Brand FC membership, and just generally speaking, sort of the community that we've created and that we've been able to be a part of, has been really cool. Because obviously we came into it as players. I've coached. I coach goalkeepers. Tiff was coaching as well, but we mainly came at it from a player's perspective. And it wasn't until we went to the United Soccer Coaches Convention for the first year with Duktig Brand that we started to meet all of these people who were using our notebooks and who were just really like-minded, cool people that were trying to make the game better for players and coaches and everyone around the game. So I'm most proud of our membership and that sort of community.
Yeah, well, that kind of takes me to the next question I was actually going to ask. Why don't you explain a little bit, because I know what that is and I'm a part of it. And you guys kind of have a unique, I don't know if you'd call it a marketing, but a unique way of going about things with your customers that you've kind of talked about building that community. Explain a little bit about what that is and how it works.
Yeah, so we started in 2017, and then at the beginning of 2018, we went to our first United Soccer Coaches Convention, and it was, we were sharing half a table with Tiffany, who's Yael Abrams. And, we're still a very small company. We had 2 products maybe, and we just had people come up all the time and show us their full notebook and say, oh, this is what I've been using it for. And we just got to meet so many people that we would never have met if we hadn't sort of gotten out of our player bubble. Because when you're a player, you're just in your little bubble with your team. And we talked about on the drive home from that convention, we were like, how can we do more for this community, or how do we become more involved in this community? And Duktig Brand FC is what we came up with. It's on a basic level, members get discounts, and they get packages of, trial gifts and a product of their choice. But we also have brainstorms and webinars, and we really get to communicate with them. So if we have an idea, we can run it by, the membership, and we can get feedback on current products. It was the membership that said they have to be waterproof. I feel like it's always a member that mentions something to us about our products that needs to be done better, or just a cool idea for a product that we wouldn't have thought of. So it's been just really cool to get to interact with all the different coaches at different levels.
Yeah, I think it is a really cool. That's why I wanted you to explain that to everyone out there, because you do a lot more than just selling something to a consumer. It's not just here, buy this, and someone purchases it and that's it. You've kind of created this community, and I'm sure from your end it feels like you guys have a little bit, or the customers and the coaches have a little bit of a say, or more of a stake in the company. You know what I mean? And what goes on, and that kind of builds a positive community within also what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Scout is completely member designed. It's basically a full product that was designed by the members, and absolutely, we trust them because, again, even now, Tiff is coaching, and she has a little bit more of that perspective, but we only see a very small slice of the soccer world. And there's so many things like the members have been asking for a stat sheet to record statistics in game. And a lot of other members were like, yes, we need that. And it's just not something that we would ever have thought of because, again, we're in our own little bubbles. So we trust the members a lot to know what they need and what other coaches need.
Yeah, that's really cool. One last question, I'll let you get out of here. Where would you like to see Duktig? I mispronounced it earlier. I apologize. Where would you like to see Duktig in a few years from now?
I think we would really like to round out a few of our product lines. We have some ideas for other coaching products that we would like to go into. Some of them are quite a bigger investment. And recently we've sort of been trying to just keep our core products in stock, and we are still self-funded, so we try to put as much of the money back into the company as we can, but we sometimes have to pick and choose which products we want to invest in. So there's some bigger projects that we want to do, and hopefully just round out the product line, keep making things that people find useful. So
awesome. Well, again, Adelaide Gay, co-founder of Duktig Brand, coaching notebooks and other things coming down the line. I know you have some hats and some apparel as well. So make sure you visit their website, check them out. They've done some great things in the last few years. And I know as a coach, I could say, like I said, I've been to the convention before the last few years, and it just seems to just keep growing and growing ever since you started. And that being a part of that community is also really cool. So we appreciate you taking the time, and also, best of luck with your playing career in Denmark. And just thanks a lot for hanging out with us, and keep up the good work on both ends of not only running a business, but also still being a professional player.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Visit our new partners, UnoZero at unozero.com, where classic beauty and quality meet modern design and elegance for football boots and more. Join our official partners at Duktig Brand FC, where they create quality products to make your lives easier as coaches. Visit our partners at TractionSocks.com for performance grip socks created for all athletes.